This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Friday, the 25th day of November in the year 2022. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. Minister of Local Government and Regional Development Nigel Daramlal today announced that the government will be extending some constituency boundaries and revert others to the 2016 local district boundaries for the upcoming local government elections. During a press conference today, the local government minister alleged that many of the boundaries were adjusted for the 2018 local polls by the former government to disenfranchise supporters of the PPP. He said the move to readjust the boundaries is to ensure greater representation.
We believe that at the end of local government elections on March 13, that there is going to be better representation of people. There is going to be more activism on behalf of residents within these areas, and our government will happily work with all 70 NDC areas as well as the 10 municipal areas across our country.
With the new modification and changes to the boundaries, the minister envisioned that there will now be more councillors across the country to represent the people. Coming out of the 2018 local government elections, there were 1,192 councillors representing the 596 constituency areas. In 2023, the minister explained there will now be 1,220 councillors and 610 constituency areas. He said because of the impact the changes will have on residents in some of the constituencies, some consultations will be done.
We've had many challenges with some of our municipalities as well as NDCs, and we believe too that with local government elections and with the type of activism that has been taking place at the local level, we are going to see greater determination at the local level, and hopefully we are going to see better managed communities.
Daramlal is adamant that there will be greater participation in the local government process.
Whilst many persons were disenfranchised in 2018, you are going to find many more persons enfranchised to vote in this local government elections, as committed by President Ali.
Local government elections were constitutionally due last year in Guyana, but due to changes at the level of GCOM, the elections were postponed. The elections are now set to take place on the 13th of March next year. More news coming up in just a moment.
Something big is here. GTT presents the moment you've all been waiting for.
'Tis the season to drive with GTT. Get your chance to be one of 4 lucky winners of a Toyota Raise, plus weekly giveaways and more. Simply activate a prepaid plan, sign up for fiber and voice plan, pay any 2 bills with MMG, or join the GTT family, and vroom! It could be you. 4 Toyota Raises, 4 winners. Drive with GTT.
Where's the biggest Black Friday sale this year?
I found this on the web for you.
It's Giftland's biggest sale ever this Black Friday, from Monday 21st to Friday 25th November. Get up to 80% off on electronics, household items, clothing, shoes, accessories, cosmetics, furniture, and much more.
Hey Siri, direction to Giftland Mall, please.
Getting directions to Giftland Mall.
Sorrel making, hey, garlic stirring, hey, ham and black cake eating. Now this is Christmas. 'Tis the season to get what you've always wanted, with a little help from Republic Bank. Same day approvals apply online. It's time to make it happen for yourself and your family. Get cash back for the best Christmas ever. Sorrel making, hey, garlic stirring, hey, ham and black cake eating. Now this is Christmas.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Mobile One is more than oil.
It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobile One adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Guyana is the authorized distributor of mobile lubricants.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
Welcome back. The leader of the Alliance for Change, Kemraj Ramjatan, today shared a view that a move by the government to adjust some constituency boundaries could cause tremendous problems and will set the stage for massive confusion at the local government elections. Mr. Ramjatan told the press conference that by adjusting the boundaries, some independent candidates may find it difficult to campaign, since one single street could now find its way into two different constituencies.
It is all illegal and illegitimate what they're doing. I understand from certain independents that want to run. They are not so certain which constituency they're in. I remember inside of Delft Street here where I live, half of the houses on that side of the street, they are in a different constituency than half of the houses in this side of the street. So you got to understand that it got to be properly delineated, because you could put up a candidate that is from Del Street thinking that he is in this constituency on the western side, when it is not so.
The Alliance for Change will not be contesting the upcoming local elections, since the party believes the current list of electors is bloated. However, the AFC leader said today that an apparent adjustment of the boundaries shows the country is not ready for local elections, since according to him the boundaries must be properly demarcated so that candidates and voters alike are not confused by the process. He said by going out and adjusting the boundaries at this stage, some voters could be disenfranchised.
Our laws as it now exists has a residency requirement for local government elections. And what the Chief Justice had ruled on had to do with national and regional election. But we got a certain section that says voters voting in the local government elections must be resident within the local governing area.
Meanwhile, AFC executive member David Patterson also weighed in on the issue. According to him, the move by the government is a strange one, and he explained that the government is seeking to adjust the boundaries after the Guyana Elections Commission asked political parties and independent candidates to submit their symbols to contest the elections.
These things here, as Kemraj said, these things are done way before you actually start the formal process.
Minister of Local Government Nigel Darmalal, in announcing the decision earlier today, said the move is to ensure greater participation at the upcoming local government elections. Let's turn now to the oil and gas sector. BP International Limited, a company in the UK, has been selected to market Guyana's share of petroleum from the Liza Destiny and Liza Unity vessels. The government, through the Ministry of Natural Resources, made the announcement last evening, explaining that the BP International was selected following a competitive procurement process. The UK-based company is engaged in oil, petrochemicals, and related financial activities at an international level. It replaces Aramco Drilling Limited, whose contract ended recently. Detailing the procurement process, the Natural Resources Ministry explained that a request for bids was issued on the 16th of September, with the 11th of October as the submission deadline. 14 bids were submitted to the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board. The Procurement Board appointed an evaluation committee, and that committee recommended that BP International be the one to be awarded the contract as part of its evaluation report. The report was cleared by the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board board and receive the support of cabinet. The contract will run for 12 months. Based on the contract, BP International is expected to provide support and guidance to the Guyanese government in all operating and back office responsibilities of managing the crude sales in each individual lift while facilitating timely and cost-effective crude operations. It is also required to support the government in the continued introduction of the great multiply geographies and refinery systems and provide benchmark and performance comparisons of prices paid for Guyana's crude. The company will also be working with the government to understand the behavior and yields of the Lisa blend and how these can affect pricing differentials. The Guyana government will continue to employ transparent and international best practices, the Ministry of Natural Resources assured. Currently, U.S. oil company ExxonMobil is producing more than 389,000 barrels of oil and gas per day and is expected by 2027 to be producing more than 1.2 million barrels of oil daily. The leader of the Alliance for Change, Comrade Rem Jatan, today said his party is fearful that Guyana could be expelled from the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative as a result of a number of violations, and he therefore wants the national coordinator of the Guyana Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative Secretariat, Dr. Prem Mazir, to be removed from the post.
The AFC fears that because of the complete inexperience and incapacity of Dr. Prem Mazir in this specialized area, Guyana is likely to be expelled for several violations by the international body, EITI. Dr. Mazir should tender his resignation or be fired.
According to Mr. Ram Jatan, Guyana's fourth GYEITI report is due on the 31st of December, but from all appearances, it is nowhere near completion by Dr. Mazir. The AFC is calling for Dr. Mazir to be swiftly replaced.
The implications for an expulsion would be that foreign direct investments, when they look at what you call the scoreboard as to which countries to come in, which countries are very transparent with their institutions of governance and the transparency in their record keeping in the various sectors, would find that Guyana is so opaque that they are not going to want to come. And what will come to Guyana will be corrupt kind of investors.
Ram Jatan warned that should the country be expelled, it could fail to attract genuine investors.
To date, a proper independent administrator is still to be hired. Rather, the Minister of Natural Resources bypassed the multi-stakeholder group, which ought to have prepared and approved the terms of reference for the procurement of this independent administrator services. And instead, he appointed the services of the 2021 administrator without any open international tender process. This handpicking is a violation of EITI standards.
The AFC leader also said in addition to the possibility of missing the report, a proper independent administrator is still to be hired. Ram Jatan said the Alliance for Change has long urged that all large-scale mining contracts be made public. He warned that the country and its people will not benefit from such concealment, but only the corrupted. When concerns were last raised about the removal of Dr. Jadu Pat as the head of the group, the Natural Resources Ministry, in expressing confidence in Dr. Mazir, said he was selected through an objective recruitment process.
It's November already and soon it will be Christmas, so we at John Lewis Styles are giving away one Amazon Echo show every week in November and every day in December. Stream music and videos, make video calls and control smart devices, alarms, reminders and lots more. Every $5,000 spent gives you a chance to win when you shop for clothing, footwear, watches, fragrances, handbags, luggage and accessories. So visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles, simply different.
Hello Guyana, I am Yolanda Brand, Chief Recruitment and Manpower Officer. And I'm here to tell you about the Ministry of Labor's first national job fair to be held at the Artichon Convention Center on November 28, 2022. I want to encourage you to use this opportunity to get to know all there is to know on available vacancies within the private, public, industrial, and the oil and gas sector. This event caters for job seekers, as there will be more than 40 major businesses and the oil and gas contractors ready to engage you on the spot. For those of you who would not be able to make it, you can visit our job bank at jobs.gov.gy. Don't miss the date, November 28th at the Artichoke Convention Center. See you there.
Did you know that the government has funded the 2022 budget through oil revenues? Yes, money earned from oil production offshore is being used to support projects in Guyana, including social programs like the increase of public assistance and old age pension, as well as cash grants to support the vulnerable members of society.
Get set, go! Guyana, get ready! It's the 60th National School Cycling, Swimming and Track and Field Championships from November 27th all the way through December 2nd. Hosted by the Ministry of Education and the Guyana Teachers Union. The moment you've been waiting for is here. Come and see the top student athletes and teachers from 15 sporting districts compete in intense rivalries. Come and enjoy cycling November 28th at the National Park Georgetown and swimming at the National Aquatic Center Liliendale. Witness the track and field action at the National Track and Field Center Lenora, West Coast Demerara on November 29, all the way through December 2nd. Action starts at 10 hours. The National Championships, where stars are born.
GBTI Quick Cash Christmas is back, just the way you like it. Get up to $500,000 easy for anything you want this Christmas. We ain't waiting on Santa. We buy and we own this Christmas. Apply at your nearest branch or online at www.gbtibank.com from October 15th to December 31st. GBTI, we see Christmas through your eyes. Terms and conditions apply.
A very Merry Guyanese Christmas.
23-year-old Wortmanville resident Uyama Patterson was remanded to jail today for the murder of construction worker Dexter McFarlane. The 48-year-old McFarlane was killed 2 weeks ago when he was struck by a stray bullet in the West Roundville area. Initial reports state that two groups of men were firing gunshots at each other when McFarlane, who was walking towards the house, was caught in the crossfire and fatally shot. In court today, the murder accused Uyama Patterson was not allowed to enter a plea to the murder charge. He appeared before the chief magistrate and was remanded to prison after the charge was read to him. He will make his next court appearance next week. The court was told that the teenager is also expected to face a murder charge in relation to the same incident. He will appear in court in the new week and is likely to appear in juvenile court. The body of the American tourist who went missing during a fishing trip in the Rupununi River earlier this week has been found. The man's body was discovered late yesterday in the Rupununi River. His name has been given as Thomas Cartins Jr. He was last seen on Tuesday when he left a resort in the Rupununi region in the company of a boat captain and another man to go on a fishing trip. During that fishing trip, there are reports that the boat capsized and the American tourist drowned. The Guyana Tourism Authority has indicated that it learned of the reports of the incident the day after it took place. The Tourism Authority has issued a warning about tourists utilizing the services of unauthorized tour guides during visits, especially to those remote parts of the country. The authority has issued a list of approved operators on its website and on the website of the Ministry of Tourism. 3 weeks ago, a US-based Guyanese man went missing at Orinduke Falls during a visit there with a group of tourists. His body was found a few days later, and the cause of death was listed as drowning.
Hello, Guyana. I am Yolanda Brand, Chief Recruitment and Manpower Officer. And I'm here to tell you about the Ministry of Labor's first National Job Fair to be held at the Artichoke Convention Center on November 28, 2022. I want to encourage you to use this opportunity to get to know all there is to know on available vacancies within the private, public, industrial, and oil and gas sector. This event caters for job seekers, as there will be more than 40 major businesses and oil and gas contractors ready to engage you on the spot. For those of you who would not be able to make it, you can visit our job bank at jobs.gov.gy. Don't miss the date, November 28th at the Artichoke Convention Center. See you there.
Census takers are visiting communities across Guyana and collecting information from every household. This information will help the government to plan better for our country's development. All the information shared will be treated as strictly confidential, and everyone is asked to participate. No one should be alarmed about any question asked, because the answers provided will help to improve living standards, decrease community crime rates, and improve access to housing and healthcare, among other benefits.
The census gives us the tool to identify some of these important gaps that exist across communities, within communities, and across regions, so that we can have targeted intervention.
Yeah, we counting way from region 1 to region 10, the whole country. Yeah, we counting way.
Food Max Supermarket, located on the ground floor of the Giftland Mall, is your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. We stock a variety of imported frozen meat and food products, fresh produce, and pet supplies, freshly made bread. Rotisserie chicken and patties are also available daily. Shop in comfort today at Food Max and let our courteous staff assist you in satisfying your shopping needs. Food Max, the fresh food specialist.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guyana's Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guyana's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight, Venezuela's government and opposition are preparing to resume political talks this weekend in Mexico after a hiatus of more than a year, opening a new chapter that could help pave the way for the easing of U.S. oil sanctions on the OPEC nation. The talks set to restart on 26th of November could alleviate its long-running political and economic crisis and open the door for Washington to clear expanded operations in Venezuela by Chevron. Previous talks were suspended back in October by the government of President Nicolas Maduro, who was upset by the U.S. extradition of a businessman with ties to his administration. The talks are expected to cover a social plan to provide humanitarian aid of some $3 billion in UN-administered funds. They will also address U.S. sanctions on Venezuela, presidential elections, and the status of hundreds of political prisoners. Honduran President Xiomara Castro has declared a national security emergency and began implementing a new plan to combat a rising number of cases of extortion by violent criminal gangs operating across the country. Castro's new measures will allow the suspension of some constitutional rights in areas with predominant criminal gang presence, a deployment of 20,000 police agents, new security controls on roads, and measures against money laundering. Congress must still approve the suspension of constitutional rights, though the security plan came into force yesterday. The declaration also authorizes the Honduran government to make extraordinary use of public funds to combat criminal gangs known for involvement in illegal activities such as kidnapping and drug trafficking. The leftist president announced a new plan to combat extortion afflicting the impoverished Central American nation in a television broadcast. The plan follows pressure from businessmen, truck, bus and taxi drivers, residents and non-governmental organizations who say extortion has worsened in recent months. And finally tonight, international news. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has said he absolutely made the right choice in invoking never-used emergency powers to end last winter's truck protests. Mr. Trudeau made the comments during an appearance on Friday before an inquiry looking into Canada's use of its Emergencies Act. He said he didn't feel the police had a proper plan in place to end the anti-vaccine mandate protests. Protests had gridlocked Ottawa and blocked key border crossings for weeks. The Prime Minister is the final person to testify in 6 weeks of hearings by the Public Order Emergency Commission, which is examining whether his government was justified in invoking the act. He told the inquiry he was concerned the protests posed a threat of violence and his goal was to keep both protesters and the public safe. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight and this week. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.